warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this very special segment today on the 25th day of January 2021. And it's a beautiful day out here in Brisbane this morning, looking out the window. While it's 28 degrees and partly sunny, yes, there's a bit of cloud around, but it's an amazing day. Today, we have a couple of interviews coming on, but the most important one up front first is we're going to be talking to Shyam of the Federation of Indian Communities of Queensland. As we know, tomorrow is a very, very significant day. So to talk about that, let's welcome to the studio Shyam Das, the president of FICQ. Shyamji, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Umesh, for having me. Thank you, Australian Indian Radio, for the opportunity. I really appreciate that. And on behalf of FICQ, our sincere thank you to you and to your team.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. As we know, tomorrow we had some very, very big plans, but we're still going ahead because it's a significant day and it has to be marked. So what are the plans for, Australia Day and the combined Indian Republic Day celebrations?
As you know, Umesh, every year we having with FICQ, every year we have this significant event in the Australia Day in a very big way. And this year also we had a planned big way, and the most significant that we have achieved a milestone, that is the 25th anniversary of FICQ as well. So we were trying to all together, we're trying to celebrate in a very big way, but unfortunately this coronavirus, this Omicron, it has come on the rise. And so for the safety of the community, as FICQ is committed to the well-being of the community, so we thought, no, we went to postpone it. But since Australia Day has to be celebrated on the 26th of January, so we thought, why don't we have something to celebrate the day, observe the big day of India, Australia Day, the Republic Day of India, and the National Day also, two unique days for both the countries, beautiful countries. So that's why we are going ahead as online. Zoom online will be live telecast will be on our Facebook page. So we are doing everything so the wider community, the larger community can have a good time, can witness the show, can hear all the dignitaries, the politicians and my business houses. They're all coming and talking about India Australia Day and what is the significance of both the countries, what is the relation, how strong they're building their relation for the past few years. So FICQ also very committed, and FICQ thought, why don't we have it on online? So we are going ahead and we're having it online, and we welcome everyone to join us and celebrate this big event.
And thank you very much for that. And I think it's a very, very responsible move, looking at what's happening right now with all the, the viruses that are spreading. In this type of time, I think the decision is a very good and a very responsible one. And it also, I think, gives more people chance to connect as well. Now, as many people as you like can connect via the web link. And for everyone's information, here's the web link. This will be on our website and all our social media sites as well. So that's the link there to connect tomorrow for the Australia Day and of course the Indian Republic Day celebration. Sanjay, talking about the event tomorrow, yes, people might be tuning in. So what can people expect? I know you always have some very good, speakers, and of course you have some cultural items. So, what can people expect?
Yeah, as you said, like every year we talk more. We could get more people to come and speak about India and Australia Day, what is the significance and what is the history. So the Australian national, because we're talking about our Australia Day, 60,000 years old history we're talking about, and we're talking about the people and how we become the part of this big national day, Australia Day, and the government also promoting it in a very big way, and very many organizations are taking part and they're doing something on that day. So it's a very big day for Australia Day, and the same time India in 1950 become republic, and so that's also is a big day for India also to become republic, totally severe all ties with the British rule and become totally independent in 1950. So that's 2 days, and what is unique when a coincidence that both the days of both the countries, National Day has fallen on the same day. So it is a good it's a blessing, and when it was for us So we can enjoy both the world and we can celebrate both the days. And what we're having on that day, we're having a lot of speeches. We're talking about the history of both the countries, about the National Australia Day, as well as we having showcasing our cultures of both the countries. Like we're having cultural programs, and then there is a double dances from Aboriginal dances are there, and then the welcoming to the country, and then we have the state and federal, and all the peoples are taking part and talking about it. And so it will go on from it to start from 5:30 to it will go on till 7:30. So we're having a constant program, constant. For the entertainment of the people, we have all the cultural program, beautiful cultural programs are there. So I request all of our viewers to come and join us and have a good time and join and enjoy the day and celebrate the big day of both the countries, India and Australia. So that's a good way to join and share the culture, share our tradition, share and combining together. That's the best thing, celebrate, respect, celebrate, and so the respect for each other. That's what is all about National Australia Day and National India Republic Day. That's what we are going to promote. We're going to showcase. We're going to that's the best. As you know, the Indian Federation of Indian Communities of Queensland been since 1997 is being the umbrella body of all the Indian Association, and we are committed to the unity in diversity. So we're trying to bring all together. You've been a part of that when you started when in 1997. So that's all how it started, and we had a vision. We had our objectives to bring all together under all the things under one umbrella. So to strengthen our voice and to the unity. So that's unity is the way to go and the peace to bring peace in our community. The peace is the only because as Mahatma Gandhi ji said, there is no path to peace. Peace is the only path. So that is what we are trying. FICQ is trying to do, and we are very successful for the last. We have come a long way, and 25 years. So that's it's a great milestone for a great achievement, and it's really all the past committees and all those members, all the members committees have worked very hard to bring it up to this level, and I'm sure our coming committee, our coming generation will keep on going and make it more stronger and stronger. And we are very committed also to build the bilateral relation between India and Australia. So that is also very much committed. How can we, as you know, that if India and Australia have become a very strong partners, and their ties are getting stronger and stronger, their bonds are getting stronger. So that's what is FICQ committed very much, and we'll keep on working, and we'll see how our unity can get stronger and stronger. And unity is the solution to every problem. So unity, in diversity, and peace, tolerance, harmony. That's what we are committed, and for the well-being of the community. And this FICQ is for the people, of the people, by the people. So we are very much involved with the community and working with the community. That's what we are committed for.
And thank you very much for those wisdom and the words, some very strong words you have used there. And it is very, very prevalent in our community that we need to be united. And, many times, when we talk about unity, we talk about inclusion, we talk about, everyone working together. That is the only way forward, like you have rightfully mentioned. That is the way. And sometimes there are perceptions about him, us, and them. And I think the best way always is conversation. When we have conversation, if there are any doubts, they can be removed, and we can always work together to the common goal. And no doubt, FICQ has come a long way, and it has made, our stance, our Indian community's stance very strong here in Queensland. The Premier's reception is just one small example of one of the very, very great achievements of that community. I think...
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Well, we've got you back. So yes, so I think that it is very good that we can all, work together in this manner. As we know, when we look at some of our leaders whom we look up to, people like Dr. Mahasina Thambi and Jim Varghese, they always been working with, so that we can all work together and have, have that unity in there. So once again, it is a great achievement, and it was the establishment of FICQ way back, when we talk about that, Jim Varghese, and of course, as you know, I was involved in a very long time as well. So even though not active as a member in there, but always there as in supporting, because it is a vision, a combined vision of the broader and the wider Indian community.
Shyam. No, you're right, very much right to what you said. We have our advisor is Jim Varghese, Dr. Ashim Majumdar there, Mr. Prasad, Dr. Prasad Lagada is there, Surinder Prasad and Naidu. They are all the past presidents and the advisors, and they have worked hard, very hard, to bring the FICQ to this level. I've been one of the founding member as well, and we've seen how we have come so far and what we have ups and downs over there, and but we work together. As you said that dialogue, healthy dialogue is always the solution to everything. To sit down and have a healthy dialogue and to work out how to get to this to this level. We have done. We have worked very hard, and will keep on working. And we are very much, as you said, like we'll keep on working to the committed to the unity in diversity, to the well-being of the community, and we will work with the community, and that's the only way. And we have a very strong committee, and we have our committee and very dedicated committee we have, and we have very dedicated people, very devoted people we have in our organization who loves FICQ, who loves the community. See, those people who have come under the umbrella of FICQ, they all love FICQ. They all love the community. They all, because that's why they want unity. Everyone wants unity in diversity, and that's the only way to move forward, to achieve your goal. When there's a unity, when we are together, we can do so many things we can do. Like the world is in turmoil now because of the COVID, and we've gone through such a difficult time. We have seen such a difficult times in Australia, like the students, international students, so many families, the new migrants, the tourists, they were all in so much in distress. But FICQ and the community and all together, we have worked together, and we have all came together. How amazing the community got together, how amazing they worked together, and they have helped each other. So that is all about the unity and love for each other. As Mahatma Gandhi said, if we love each other, the world will be a different place. So it is true. And if we love each other and we work together, shoulder to shoulder, and things will become so easy. This turmoil with this, we are going through this turmoil because of COVID-19. The world is going through such a difficult phase still now. And so many people have died. Our heart goes to this family, and so many people have lost their loved one. So but we are going through it, and together we'll go through it, and we'll come out of it. Sooner or later we'll come out of it. Things get good, but as every difficulty comes in our life, it teaches us some lesson, and we have learned lesson from this also, from COVID-19, how to get through it. Now this online things become so convenient for us to talk to each other. So we never thought of that, people, but we have worked when it's so difficult. We have worked together, and we have come so far, and we will keep on working, and we see how things get so easy when you're working together. So that's what we are. We must work together. We must stay united, and we'll see through it, and sooner or later. And my request to everyone to get vaccinated and enjoy the freedom. So vaccination is the only solution to this pandemic. This pandemic has changed everyone's life. The life has gone upside down, but we have come so far, and we'll get through it. So together we'll get through it. Keep on going, stay positive, and get all of you, I request to get vaccinated. Get to vaccination. That's the only way we can stay together, and we can move on with our life.
And that's a great message that everyone needs to be vaccinated, and we as community leaders need to promote that message, get that message out to the community that, please do get vaccinated. And if you are now eligible for the booster, go get your boosters done as well. So Sanjay, once again, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing the vision and some of the wisdom together with all our viewers and listeners. And once again, I think we can do this from time to time, some updates from the activities of FICQ. We can do this, and one of the things that you mentioned there, that every difficulty brings an opportunity. So right now, we are talking to each other via this video link, and we are able to share our views. There are many Zoom meetings which are happening, and I can see sometimes some very elderly people, they're still getting on Zoom. So people can adapt if the need be, that they can adapt, and they have adapted technology. So once again, thank you so much for being on the show, and all the very best for tomorrow. We will share the link as much as we can.
Thank you, Umesh, for the opportunity, and I request all your viewers to join us tomorrow at 5:30. And the link is there for you to come and join, and it will be a very beautiful event, sharing the history of both the beautiful countries. And it's a Republic Day of India and National Australia Day. And I look forward to see you all tomorrow at 5:30 through Zoom online. Thank you, Umesh. Thank you and your team for the opportunity to FICQ. FICQ sends you our sincere thanks to you and to your team. Thank you.
Thank you very much once again, Shyam, for coming on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you are. That was Shyam Das, the president of FICQ, and it was very nice of him to, because of his busy schedules, and even then giving us the time to come on and talk to us about the function that's going to be happening tomorrow. And it is just so great to see that he gave us the time to come on here. Well, right now, today is a very special day as well, because today marks 2 years since we first heard about this virus.
It is a significant day today. It marks 2 long years since the first case of COVID was diagnosed in Australia, and there are signs that the latest peak of Omicron infections has passed in many states. But should we start feeling optimistic? Sanjay Sananaka is an infectious diseases expert at the ANU, and he joins us now from the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. Sanjay, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Very well, thank you. 2-year anniversary. Not many people are celebrating, it's fair to say. What are your thoughts this morning on where we are, and certainly battling Omicron, but the pandemic more generally?
Yes, Michael, look, this time 2 years ago, we had one case of something called a novel coronavirus in Australia. It didn't even have the name of COVID. So that's obviously changed since then. And I think if 2020 was the year of uncertainty, then 2021 was the year of the variant. But I hope, and I really hope, that 2022 will be the year of hope through learned experience and pragmatism, because we've now got 146 vaccines in different phases of human trials. We've got 79% of the Australian population who've received 2 doses of vaccines. We've got medications that can be used in the community and in the hospital system to treat COVID. And we've got rats. And I never thought I'd say this, but I actually like rats. I look forward to seeing more of them.
Yes, we wish they were more frequently available to so many people. Hey, so let's talk about that hope. And we also had some mixed messages overnight from the World Health Organization. Its European chief was pretty hopeful that the pandemic was nearing its end, certainly in Europe, and good times were ahead. But pretty soon after that, the WHO Director General said, hang on, folks, hang on. Let's worry potentially about future variants. We ain't out of this yet. So how do you see this year tracking? Obviously, there'll be new variants, but I guess the more of us that are vaccinated will help blunt the effect of those.
Yes, Michael, I think there's been really nothing particularly pleasant about this Omicron wave that has enveloped the world. But one lesson which might put us in good stead for 2022 is realising that global vaccine equity is paramount. if we don't look after the rest of the world in terms of vaccination, then new variants will more easily emerge and cause similar problems that to those that Omicron has just caused. For example, there is a new variant that ended up in France causing a few new cases. It probably came from Cameroon, where only about 2.5% of the population were fully vaccinated. So it really is important that we have global vaccine equity and we have global surveillance of variants to try and pick out something early.
And that's a very important point to make about global equity. In terms of Australia, do you reckon it's now inevitable that to be recognised as fully vaccinated, you'll have to have 3 doses?
Look, the data is more and more compelling about Omicron, which is now the dominant strain in this country, that boosters, that 3rd dose provides more protection against both symptomatic disease and hospitalisation. So yes, I think it will be. And as I said, 79% of the Australian population has received 2 doses of vaccine, and it's only about 26% of the population who's had that 3rd booster dose.
We hope your hope is well founded, and this year is so much better than last year and the year before. But looking ahead, assuming that everything lines up and this wave passes and the pandemic starts to be far less serious, will Australians, though, be expected to persist with other measures like mask wearing for many, many months, maybe in 2 years ahead as well?
Look, I certainly think for the short to medium term that is the case, because even if we got to the peak of Omicron, Michael, you have to remember that it isn't the peak today and tomorrow it's 0. So for a few weeks, we're still going to see a lot of activity, and that'll be particularly pertinent to us healthcare workers looking after COVID patients. So yes, COVID-safe measures will always be there. Vaccination is the most important strategy we have getting out of COVID, but it is just one part of a bundle of strategies.
Yes, indeed, that bundle will continue. So many downsides, so many things not worth celebrating today, but there is one upside, Sanjay. Australia's got to know you and people like you, and to really appreciate your insights, as we certainly do. So thank you for everything over the last 2 years, and undoubtedly, sadly, in the best possible way, we'll be speaking a whole lot more in the months ahead.
Oh, yes, look, I love speaking to you, but of course, yes, I'd be very happy if COVID goes away.
As we would.
As everyone would, that if COVID could go away. Well, talking about something different as well. Right now, in Australia, a lot of people suffer with skin conditions. Now, there are many kinds of skin conditions. So now there is a game-changing new treatment available for 1 in 5 Australians suffering from atopic dermatitis. Atopic dermatitis is a chronic inflammatory skin condition caused by an overactive immune system and is one of the most common and severe forms of eczema. According to 1.6 million Australians are thought to be living and suffering with moderate to severe form of the condition. And now people may be many times mistaken to think that maybe this is psoriasis or eczema. So now we can hear about the atopic dermatitis. So RNVOQ is listed as on the pharmaceutical benefits scheme, which is the PBS, and is now available in Australians suffering from the moderate to severe atopic dermatitis. So today it was announced that RNIVOQ, and it's got a very long name, genus kinase inhibitor, has been listed on the PBS for patients living with the severe AD. This includes patients with severe atopic dermatitis, we will from here on call it AD, that affects the whole body, face or hands. Atopic dermatitis is a chronic inflammatory skin condition caused by an overactive immune system, which we have talked. Now, to talk about all this, we will be getting, unfortunately not via video link, but via a phone link. We have Professor Stefan Schumack, who is an OIM FICD, and Stefan is a general clinical dermatologist who has 30 years experience in a wide range of dermatological conditions. He is a clinical associate professor at Sydney Medical School in the Northern Division of the University of Sydney. He's also a senior staff specialist at the Royal North Shore Hospital in Brisbane at St. Leonard's. He has private practices in general dermatology at Macquarie Street, Sydney, and also in Cougra. So right now, let's see if we can get Professor Stephan on the line. Yes? Okay. So, yes, once again, welcome to the show, Stephan.
It's my pleasure to be here.
And thank you very much. So, talking about this acute condition, which is, of course, if you're going by all these reports, it's quite prevalent in the Australian community. And, of course, the conditions that we live in here, of course, this is Australia, and the atmospheric conditions which are here has this effect on the skins. So what are the symptoms of atopic dermatitis, and what is the impact of the condition on everyday life?
Atopic dermatitis is a common condition in Australia affecting about 1.6 million people.
Right.
It's caused by an overactive immune system and is one of the most common rash that we see in Australia.
Okay, so it is very, very common, and up till now, it must not have been ahead of in those terms, because people were all very familiar with eczema and of psoriasis and many others. So how is atopic dermatitis managed and treated? Yep.
The main symptom that people get with atopic dermatitis is itch, and this can have a major impact on the quality of life. They're so itchy that they can't sleep at night, they have difficulty concentrating, they have trouble in social and workplace situations. It really causes major problems to people with the condition.
And it is a very, very severe condition, as you have mentioned, that those are the symptoms that and it has a very diverse influence on people, not being able to have a good night's sleep and things like that, and itching all the time. So management. When we talk about management, how can this be managed and treated?
The main aim of treating atopic dermatitis is to stop the itch and clear up the rash. Mostly this is using various creams and ointments, but the severe forms of atopic dermatitis often need to be treated with tablets or injections, and these target certain areas of the immune system to bring the condition under control.
Well, exactly. Are you getting that under the control? Because many times people say these conditions are only controlled, but they can never be gotten rid of. So can you please explain the role treatment can play in helping improve disease control, which in turn leads to a good quality of life?
Specific treatment aimed at controlling the condition can make people undertake the normal activities of daily living, such as working, such as sleeping, such as going out in social situations, much easier because they don't have to worry about the look of the rash or the itch associated with the condition.
Yes, of course, it can be very, very challenging, especially when it's some very obvious parts of the body. People might get very, very, shy, embarrassed to go out. And of course, as you have rightfully explained there, that, this gives them the control of their quality of life. Moving on, can you tell us about the PBS listing and who may be eligible, because this is a very significant move?
Rinvoq is an oral Janus kinase or JAK1 inhibitor, and this will be available for adults and adolescents over the age of 12 years with severe atopic dermatitis.
Okay, so and how would people get that? So maybe if they to just talk to their GPs first. So if people with atopic dermatitis have any questions about their treatments, who should they be speaking with?
It's always good to seek out your general practitioner, your dermatologist, your immunologist to discuss your condition, because it may be possible to help bring your condition under much better control.
And control is the key word there. And of course, if you can control those conditions, you will improve the quality of your life. So Professor Stephan, once again, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing with us this very, very valuable information, which, as you mentioned, there's a large number of people right here in Australia who are suffering from them. So once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, that very, very important topic that we're talking about, the atopic dermatitis, which could be, many people could be suffering from that and not knowing that what they are actually suffering from, because it is not that very evident whether it is a psoriasis, eczema, or atopic dermatitis. So talk to your GP, as was present, and now those solutions are available, and it is now available on the PBS. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, let's move to our daily India report.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you glimpses of the changing India. In our first story, India's Health Ministry has said that Omicron is now in the community transmission stage in India, dominant in multiple metros. The Omicron variant of COVID-19 is in the community transmission stage in India and has become dominant in multiple metros where new cases have been rising exponentially, according to the Indian SARS-CoV-2 Genomics Consortium. In its latest bulletin, the Government of India institution also said BA2 lineage, an infectious subvariant of Omicron, has been found in a substantial fraction in India. The INSACOG under the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare reports genomics surveillance of SARS-CoV-2 across the country through sequencing of samples from sentinel sites and also detailed state-wise district analysis for some states. A total of 150,710 samples have been sequenced and 127,697 samples have been analyzed so far by the INSACOG. In a big step, India has removed mandatory isolation for flyers testing positive on arrival from at-risk countries. The Health Ministry of India, in its new guidelines, has said that passengers arriving from at-risk countries and tested positive for COVID-19 on arrival in India will be treated as per the normal protocols, and such passengers will not need to be admitted to an isolation facility. However, they still need to undergo home quarantine for 7 days and then get the RT-PCR test done on the 8th day. If tested negative, they have to further self-monitor their health for the next 7 days. For arrivals from at-risk countries, it says if such travelers are tested positive, their samples should be further sent for genomic testing at INSACOG laboratory network. They shall be tested, isolated as per laid down standard protocol. India has given due recognition to the Indian National Army founder and freedom fighter Subhash Chandra Bose. On his birth anniversary on 23rd January, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi unveiled a grand digital statue of Bose next to the famous India Gate that is a memorial for the fallen soldiers. The Modi government demonstrated another action of nationalism and pride to honor the freedom fighter who took to armed struggle. The statue of Subhash Chandra Bose at the India Gate replaces the statue of King George V, the imperial icon of the country that Netaji fought all his life. Along with the Prime Minister, Home Minister Amit Shah and Culture Minister G. Kishan Reddy were also present on the occasion as India celebrated the 125th birth anniversary of Subhash Bose. Modi and Shah spoke on the occasion. The installation of the granite statue of Netaji under the canopy is in recognition of the leader of INA as one of the foremost freedom fighters of India. INA was the army that faced maximum attrition with 26,000 out of total 90,000 killed, but never surrendered to the British. Its officers and men were captured and put on trial but never signed any surrender document before the British. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's statue was placed where the statue of King George V till 1968. The imperial ruler for whom the 1911 Delhi Darbar was held with practically all the ruling princes and noblemen in India present to pay their obeisance to the newly crowned empire of India. Netaji Subhash Bose will be taking salutes on the Republic Day parade every year. Government officials said the installation of Netaji's statue sends a message to the world that India pays respect to a revolutionary leader who was with the losing side in World War II. According to officials, the decision to install Netaji's statue was not taken in the spur of the moment by Prime Minister Modi, but through intensive deliberations with the Culture Ministry and those manning historical archives. Delhi police has intensified anti-terror measures in the Indian capital after receiving intel inputs of a possible terror attack ahead of Republic Day on 26th January. Ahead of Republic Day celebrations to be held on January 26th, the Delhi police has intensified anti-terror measures in the national capital. Police Commissioner Rakesh Asthana said that anti-terror monitoring has been intensified after receiving intel inputs of a possible terror attack. The police commissioner said that for the past 2 months, the Delhi police have been taking intensified anti-terror measures in the national capital. He listed the anti-terror measures taken under 26 parameters, which include intensified vehicle checking, checking of lodges and tenant, servant, labor verification. Also, a total of 27,723 personnel has been deployed, including 71 DCPs, 213 ACPs, 753 inspectors and Delhi police commanders. At least 65 companies of CAPF will coordinate with these forces. Notably, Delhi is currently under heavy security cover after the intelligence agencies received inputs of a possible terror attack in the city in wake of the Republic Day. India has emerged as the largest exporter of gherkin in the world. India has crossed the $200 million mark of export of pickling cucumber, which is globally referred to as gherkins or cornichons, in the last financial year. In 2020-21, India has shipped 223,515 metric tons of cucumber and gherkins valued at $223 million. Gherkins are exported under two categories, cucumbers and gherkins, prepared and preserved by vinegar or acetic acid, and those which are provisionally preserved. The virtual Global Youth Conference marking Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2022 focused on role of diaspora youth in AKAM innovation and new technologies. Here's a special presentation by Kiran Rampat, founder and CEO, Kumar Rampat Cricket Academy in Trinidad and Tobago.
The West Indies took inspiration for independence from India. However, it was Vijay Hazari's team in 1953 that solidified the thinking that West Indians can lead ourselves. Cricket has been pivotal to our society, and today I wish to speak a little bit about our academy's contribution in the realm of cricket. Currently, we have 5 West Indies senior team players, 6 first-class players in the Caribbean. We have 6 more on the West Indies under 15 and under 19 youth teams, and over 35 players on the Trinidad youth teams. Ladies and gentlemen, for one cricket academy in Trinidad, producing enough players for an international team, this track record is outstanding. I also pause to point out that the vast majority of persons named here are of the Indian diaspora. Despite our performances, we're not prepared to stagnate. We continue to be innovative, and this presents several entrepreneurship and partnership opportunities. For instance, we'd like to replicate the KRC model of high performance to other countries of the Indian diaspora. Also, through partnership, we can trade ideas and experiences. For instance, in the West Indies, we are very good at creating hard-hitting, aggressive batsmen and fast bowlers, while India is extremely good at creating good spinners, classical batsmen, and master strategists. So, through partnership and exchange, let's help create an Indian Kiran Pollard. And meanwhile, India can help us create our own West Indian Rahul Dravid that our team desperately needs.
As electric vehicles gaining foothold in the Indian passenger vehicle segment, IIT researchers have come up with a technology to reduce the cost of the vehicle. Researchers from the Indian Institute of Technology have developed a new technology to reduce the cost of electric vehicles. Researchers have developed an on-board charger for EVs can cut one additional power electronics interface required for propulsion mode. This cuts the components involved by 50%. The technology has been developed at IIT Varanasi in collaboration with experts from IIT Guwahati and IIT Bhubaneswar. According to the team, the lab-scale development has already been done at IIT and upgradation and commercialization are progressing. India's Bombay Stock Market Index BSE Sensex on 24th January tanked over 1,545 points to go below the 57,492 mark. Indian equity market indices on the Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange continued their losing streak for the fifth straight day. Markets crashed over 2.5% on January 24th, led by a sell-off across all the sectors amid weakness in the global market. BSE Sensex crashed 1,545.67 points to end at 57,491.51, while the Nifty 50 fell 468.05 points to settle at 17,149.10. Both the indices had opened around 0.4% lower earlier in the day and during the intraday fell as much as 3.5%. On the Sensex pack, all the stocks ended in the red. Tata Steel and Bajaj Finance were the worst performers of the day, falling nearly 6%, followed by Wipro, Tech Mahindra, Titan Company, Reliance Industries, HCL Technologies, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Bajaj Finserv and Asian Paints. Family Man fame South Indian actress Priyamani is making her Telugu OTT debut with the movie Bham Kalpam. National Award winner and Family Man famed South Indian actress Priyamani is stepping into Telugu OTT with Brahmakalpam, a delicious home-cooked thriller to be streamed on AHA. Producers have just released an impressive teaser. Anupama is a homemaker in an apartment complex where she is often criticized for intruding into others' matters. All hell breaks loose one day when a murder takes place. Through the teaser, we get to know that the release date of the web film is the second Friday of February or 11th February. AHA platform has promised to serve new dose of entertainment to viewers every weekend. The web original movie is directed by Abhimanyu Tedimeti with filmmaker Bharat Kamma as the showrunner. Sudhir Edara and Bogavalli Bapiniddu have produced the film under SVCC Digital. That's all for this bulletin of Daily India Report.
And thank you very much for that update, Himanshu, because that's, as we can see, that's a lot that's happening there. Well, right now, what is happening with the backflip of COVID-19 with Mark McGowan? And very soon the Premier will be joining us live here, so stay tuned for that. The Premier will be coming on live very soon with us.
For nearly 2 years, West Australians have been told they're the envy of the world, living a restriction-free life with only a handful of days spent in lockdown. February 5 was to be the day the state reconnected with the
stadium, so we'll get to that in a moment. But can I say good morning to Queensland and good morning Townsville, and it's wonderful to be back in this part of the world and beautiful conditions here today. It's usually very hot this time of year in Townsville, but it's beautiful cool weather. Can I start by saying that we have 9,546 new cases. Included in that is 3,845 rats. Tragically, I have to report today that we have lost 11 people overnight, and I know this is very heartbreaking to families. Can I say none of this is easy, you know, we don't want to be reporting this, but we are during a health pandemic, and Dr. Gerard will go through a bit more detail about the status and the ages, but they were all over 50 years of age. Doesn't make it any easier, and I know that there's people out there who are grieving, and on behalf of the people of Queensland we extend our sympathies to people during this very sad time for their families. Dr Gerard will also outline the number of people in hospital, the number of people in ICU, and the fact that we're in Townsville too. I might report that at the moment there are 37 people in the Townsville Hospital. One person is in ICU, and we do expect the peak in Townsville to be in about 2 weeks' time, but the Chief Health Officer will talk a little bit more about that. In good news, our vaccine coverage, 91.81%, at least one dose, and still inching closer to that 90% double dose, 89.18% of people are double vaccinated. And our 5 to 11-year-olds, it's great to see 26.54% of our children have had one dose, and 3,919 were done yesterday. So please remember the Vax Hubs are open tomorrow on Australia Day, so if you can get to a vaccination clinic to get your child vaccinated, please do so. Whilst I'm in Townsville, can I also congratulate the people of Townsville? This is really good news. In the Townsville region, 92% of Townsville people have had their first dose, and double dose is 89.2%. So really, Townsville is really sitting on the state average, which is fantastic news. So I do want to do a big shout out and thank everyone for coming forward and getting vaccinated and getting their boosters. So in terms of boosters, 50.28% of eligible people have received their booster. And don't forget, yesterday, if it's been 2 months since your second dose, you can actually come and get your booster. So can I please reiterate to people up here in the Townsville region, if you're due to get your booster, don't delay, get your booster, because it gives you that added layer of protection. So I'll hand over to the Chief Health Officer, then we'll take any questions in relation to COVID, and then we'll move on to the announcement today in Townsville. Dr Gerard, over to you.
So thank you very much, Premier. So today, sadly, we have 11 deaths to report. One person in their 50s, one person in their 60s, 2 in their 70s, 3 in their 80s, and 4 in their 90s. Of these individuals, 4 were unvaccinated, 1 had had 1 dose of vaccine, 6 had had 2 doses, and none of these had had a booster. It is, as the Premier has said, this is a very difficult time for their families, and our thoughts are very much with them. In terms of the progress of the pandemic, and particularly the hospital situation, we now have 928 people in Queensland public hospitals. That's a significant rise from yesterday, up from 878 yesterday, as we approach our general peak in Queensland in the next couple of weeks. This includes 51 patients in the intensive care unit, 13 of whom are ventilated, which is up slightly from yesterday from 50, so that's an increase of 1. As we've heard here in Townsville, there are 37 people in hospital. I understand an extra ward was opened last night, and the peak is expected. We expect an acceleration in the number of cases here in Townsville over the next 2 weeks as Townsville approaches its peak in about 2 weeks' time. But thankfully you have high vaccination rates here in Townsville, and that will put you in good stead to move forward. And that does remind us that we're very much part of a global phenomenon. Pretty well the whole world is seeing this wave of Omicron almost simultaneously, give or take a few weeks. From starting in South Africa, London, etc., around the world, we're all experiencing the same thing right here, including right here in Townsville. The good news in most of the world, what we've seen is a steady rise in cases over a period of about 1 month, followed by a steady fall over the next month. And that's what we are expecting to see here in Queensland. Now, what happens at the end of that second month, that will be a time to regroup. There'll be some sort of tail, and there may be future cases as we move forward, but that will be a time to regroup when we get to the end of that second month, sometime at the end of February or early March. But in the meantime, we're very much focused on the current wave as we reach a peak at various stages across the state as part of a global phenomenon. And I just would like just one more time to remind everybody, as we're approaching the peak, if you are at the point where you are eligible to get a booster shot, that's a 3rd dose, which is any time within 3 months of your second dose, now is the time to get it.
Right back, we'll cross
we
over
know that the
to
booster
the
dose
Australian
gives
government, the
significantly
Department of Force,
additional
and,
protection
we're speaking with Peter
well over and above the second.
Researchers in hypersonic technology and industry leaders in aerospace innovation and manufacturing. The precinct will enable researchers to generate true hypersonic flight conditions at large scale in a classified laboratory. So I acknowledge and thank our academic partners, the amazing University of Queensland, University of Southern Queensland and the University of New South Wales. And I thank our Australian defence industry partners who are helping to build the pathway to develop this critical sovereign capability. Today we face, I think, the most significant change in our strategic environment since the Second World War. There is a race for global dominance in many critical and emerging technologies, including hypersonic technology, that offer military, economic and social opportunities. We'll not stand by, though, and watch our country lose its competitive and our capability edge. We won't let the opportunities of this technology for the economy and for jobs simply go elsewhere for a lack of investment. This precinct marks a major step forward for Queensland, for defence and for the future security of Australia, and I'm absolutely delighted today to be in the company of some of the most intelligent, incredibly passionate people, some of whom I met with earlier to talk about their research and the dedication that they have, and I hope today that they are as proud as every Australian should be of the work that they do. So I'm delighted to declare the Australian Hypersonics Research Precinct officially open. Thank you very much.
Schools have either returned to full schooling year or they're starting sometime this week. So we'll be making our announcement later during the week. And I might just advise people, and the Education Minister said I can do this, that the Education Minister has COVID. We wish her a speedy recovery. So as soon as she is back on deck, the Education Minister and I will make that announcement. I think people can understand that I'd like the Education Minister to be here for that announcement.
Is the government tracking the uptake of vaccinations on Palm Island?
We're looking very carefully at that, and of course we've had people going door to door. Can I just say to residents of Palm Island, if there is any hesitancy whatsoever, please, please, please talk to a GP or a health professional. Vaccination, you can hear it from Dr. Gerard as well, our Chief Health Officer. The vaccination helps prevent serious disease, and this is a global pandemic, and the virus is here in Townsville. It's right across Queensland, and I want to protect as many people as possible, and the vaccine does give that extra layer of protection, and especially that booster. So when your booster is due, please go and get your booster.
Do you have updated stats for the number of new cases on Palm Island?
I don't at the moment, but we can get that for you.
Brisbane and Cairns are expected to see their peak in the coming week. How are those hospitals coping? Are there enough beds and are there enough staff?
Yes, we've done a lot of planning, and Cabinet was briefed on that yesterday. And in some good news, I'm heartened by this news, but we're going to wait to see what happens over the next 1 to 2 weeks. The peak and the utilisation of hospital beds is actually lower than what we were expecting. So later on during this week, I'll release some of that data. I just want to see how the peak goes at the moment, but at the moment where we're tracking, we will be able to cope.
How sick is Grace Groves? Is she in hospital or at home?
No, she's at home. Yeah.
And just with those hospitals, will Brisbane still be able to take sick COVID patients from regions like Townsville and Cairns when they're full of COVID patients themselves?
Well, you've got a very good hospital here, and it's coping. That's why Dr. Gerard came up here as well. He wants to personally go and check with the hospital and make sure everything's okay. But we are not hearing any reports that it's not. And it's in some good news, the fact that our hospitals are going to be reaching that peaks at different time should give Queenslanders a bit more comfort as well. It's not everything happening all at once.
We say Townsville says to hit its peak in 2 weeks' time. What does that look like in terms of case numbers?
Well, we'll be monitoring that. We'll get some better data over the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be able to update the Townsville community. Okay.
So Townsville's, we've just got a third COVID ward recently opened, and so we've still got our peak to come. So there's only a few number of beds at each of these regional hospitals. How are those areas going to handle those numbers?
Yeah, we're very comfortable with the projections at the moment that we have bed capacity. So at the moment, like I said, in heartening news, the track is not as high for the demand of beds as we initially were expecting.
Just a question for the show.
Yeah, sure.
Dr. Gerard, just on Southeast, well, how are they coping as they are approaching that peak more quickly in places like
Look, there is no question that as we approach the peak, there will be strain and stress on individual hospitals. But the peak appears to be slightly less in most areas, and it won't necessarily be the same everywhere than we had planned for, slightly less. And there will be strain transiently, but the hospitals are coping well at this stage.
We've heard nationally that they're saying the peak is starting to tip off the southern states as well. When are we expecting to see that more likely in Queensland for a statewide sort of average?
Queensland's a little different to the other states insofar as we're a more dispersed state. So it will happen at different rates in different places. So Townsville will be delayed by probably a couple of weeks compared, say, with the Gold Coast, but not by that much. It's surprising how quickly this virus does spread. So the Gold Coast is probably going through its peak now, or it's probably just past its peak. We expect Brisbane to be going through its peak next week, and probably Townsville the following week. It's that sort of rate of progression. Cairns, interestingly, is a little bit earlier, probably approaching a peak now or in the next few days. But so it's different in different regions.
We've watched COVID really hit our Indigenous communities quite hard across the country, and a lot of them have the same problems: low vaccination rates and hesitancy and cultural barriers with medical staff. Why wasn't more done to ensure Palm Island's vaccination rates?
Well, I think you'll find that the vaccination rates vary enormously between the different First Nations communities. So some have very high vaccination rates, some have lower vaccination rates. There's been a lot of very active work by Queensland Health on Palm Island to encourage vaccination. I mean, in the end, we can't make people get vaccinated. We can only encourage people to get vaccinated and provide the vaccine for them as much as possible. And I think that, well, I know that has been done on Palm Island. I've been talking with the people that work on Palm Island. So.
Last couple of questions. Just one more for the Premier on welfare. With the state government said you reading its own confidentiality guidelines and failing to reveal the costs of the Wellcamp facility. What's your response to that?
They're commercial in confidence, and like I said, it's much cheaper than the cost anticipated for other quarantine facilities in other states.
And is there any further information coming out about those costs of Wellcamp in the near future?
No.
Did Grace raise it in cabinet yesterday?
No. She was on the phone.
We're hearing some claims that Wellcamp could be wasting taxpayer money. What do you say to that?
We're just waiting for that announcement from the Premier, but in the meantime, she's taking the questions from the journalists who are there.
And we are well prepared. We are absolutely prepared, and we've planned for this, and it'll be put to good use, and we should be very proud that we have a quarantine facility that'll be up and running in a matter of weeks. Okay? All right, might move on to the next. Thank you very much, Chief Health Officer. Okay, and so I'm very pleased today we have Minister Mark Ryan here, our Commissioner, Ian Levers from the Police Union, and of course the local MPs, Minister Scott Stewart, Les Walker, and of course local member Aaron Harper, who I know who is particularly pleased with this announcement today. It's something that his community will be greatly appreciative for. And I do want to thank the Commissioner for coming along today as well, because we value police in this state, and what we're announcing today is another investment in police facilities that are needed for this community. And I'm very proud that when you look at this site, and this was, you know, the home for the Cowboys for many years. I remember coming to some of the matches here, and we wanted to put out, you know, what can this be utilised for, and today we are announcing the first stage of putting this stadium, this former stadium, to good use. So today I can announce that we will be investing $30 million into a brand new state-of-art police facility right here at the old 1300 Smiles site. This will be a huge added piece of infrastructure into the Townsville community. It will also support local jobs. Nearly 100 jobs will be on site here. That's 100 people being able to work on this site, and the demolition will start soon, and we expect that demolition to start during the middle of this year. Construction is expected to be completed by late 2024, but I'm quite sure that if we can speed that up, we definitely will be, and the facility will be operational in 2025. The hub will support up to 120 offices.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big announcement today is $30 million going towards a police facility which will be built into the old stadium site there in Townsville. So once again, thank you everyone for joining in today to a slightly extended period today because we had 2 interviews and all these live events happening. But once again, to each and every one of you, thank you for joining in. And yes, so many people sending in messages. Yes, I was in for a day surgery yesterday only, and I'm out. Not feeling the best, but the show must go on as they reckon. Once again, thank you everyone for your wishes. And right now, it's time to say goodbye from this segment. So until tomorrow. And tomorrow, okay, we will need to talk about tomorrow because tomorrow will be a different, we have the flag raising and we have some citizenship ceremonies. So tomorrow we will come with a very special show at 3 p.m., which is a panel of doctors coming on. And at 3:30 we'll have the weekly real estate update with Chandra. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from me.